All right, started the recording.
All right. Okay, that's cool. All right, so it's good to meet with you guys. This is the first time we're meeting this year, and because beginning of the year is always very for me. It's always very it's always very solitary for me. I try to spend the whole of January just introspecting and just thinking about what I would want to engage in or what I have to engage in for the year, and just just relaxing basically. And so that's why we couldn't start that. But then elections came, and that was a very that was a distraction in quote, a welcome distraction, but it was a distraction from a lot of other activities. And I think after elections was when everybody really had time to for their eyes to clear again and know who their friends were, who their friends were not, and to really see life in true perspective. Because during the election period, there was a lot of people lost perspective of what life was. And then you saw someone who was a friend as an enemy just because you were not on the same page. And it was a very emotional time. But we should try to guard against it being an emotional time. It should be a very logical time for us where we make informed decisions. Unfortunately, we still end up falling into that emotional roller coaster, and we make emotional decisions which we regret for years to come. But then it's good to have everybody here again. Um, it's great to see Bright. We've all been talking, and I want to thank Bright for it's the reason why we're even meeting right now, because he has been on my neck, from beginning of the year, telling me about the meetings we're having. So he has always been there to remind me about the meeting. So thank you very much, Bright, for being diligent with that. Even the main club meeting itself, he's the one that always telling me, "Oh, the month is getting to an end. We need to meet and stuff like that." So thank you very much for taking that responsibility upon yourself and doing it well. It's good to see Hosa. It's good to see Tom Ted. It's good to see Temi on this call. It's good to see three of you because I don't think I've heard from the three of you in a while. It's been a while. It's been months. So I'm always good. It's always good to have this private meeting with you guys. So Bright sent me some questions, and we'll be discussing those questions here. So I'll just take time to read the questions and see how many we can answer within this 1 hour period that we have. And whatever we cannot answer, we will answer at our next meeting. So I hope you can get through everything. There are 5 questions, but I don't want to rush everything in the bid to answer everything. I want us to be able to deal with them and understand, because that's why you're asking questions, to get some level of clarity and understanding. So I'll try to take my time, but if we can't go through everything, please forgive me, and we'll see how we can get to it in our next meeting. All right. So the first set of questions that he sent were from Temitope, and they're pretty good questions. The first question is, how do you handle being overwhelmed as a creative? How do you handle being overwhelmed as a creative? And you see, um, I don't know Temitope's specific reason for asking this question, but I don't think I need to know the specific reason because um, the general reason is cool enough. We can all identify with a feeling of fatigue, being overwhelmed at some point in time. I know I felt this thing in 2020. Understand? It was very 2019, 2020. I was very overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed with work in general, and it was. I started to not like the process of even being a designer anymore. I started not to like it because it was like it was consuming a the, a very major part of my headspace, my time, and I wasn't enjoying it. But I'll have you know that that period I was making quite a lot of money from design. I'm making quite a lot of money, but I was too busy and I was overwhelmed. I wasn't enjoying what I was making as money. I wasn't enjoying it. You understand? But clients kept coming and coming, and there were projects, and that's for me as a business person. And people feel this kind of being overwhelmed too as as a as an employee. You can feel it too. They just work after work after work, project after project after project, some of them overlapping, and it seems like it has taken control of your life as a person. Now, at this point, I want to ask Tim Topper, just tell me uh, if I'm going off course in what you are trying to ask with this question, so that I can keep it within course, because it's important to answer your question. So, Tim Topper, is it in line with what I'm saying right now?
Yes, it's in line, sir. So it's in line precisely, and it's about life in general, and
Okay.
is actually in line, sir.
All right. Okay. So I just wanted to be sure about that. And I like what he said that it has to do with life in general too. So even that period, you don't feel overwhelmed with other activities outside of work. So you just feel like there's always noise. There's always noise, just this heaviness. And it's very easy to feel irritable, irritated, easily angered. You just feel like it's a burden on your head. So even when you sleep self, you don't feel not like if you slept well. You wake up tired. You go to bed tired, wake up tired. So tiredness is a constant. Now, when this happens, it is the time to ask yourself a question whether or not you are not saying no enough. Because a lot of times we get overwhelmed when we get scared. We get overwhelmed because deep under that feeling of too much burdens in terms of social burdens, work burdens, religious burdens, when you search it, there is a fear there. And a lot of times it's a fear of losing. So I'll put it that way. Um, when you are scared that you wouldn't have enough money, you will go broke. You won't be able to meet up with your rent or meet up with your financial responsibilities, whatever they might be. The tendency for you is to grab and grab and grab and grab. You grab a lot, you understand, because you want to meet up. You understand, when you feel like there wouldn't be enough, you grab, you keep grabbing because you want to fill up a space because you feel like if after this time I won't have enough anymore. So I better make the best of this time and eat as much as I can, take as much as I can. I know there's this challenge up right now. It's this what do you call it? This bottle flip challenge. And I was just telling my wife yesterday that for every challenge, every physical challenge, there's always a spiritual undertone that people don't pay attention to. Always. If there's something that is trending, there's a physical trend that people are doing, whatever it is. Some of it might seem innocuous. When you look at it deeply, there's a spiritual undertone somewhere because the devil is not dismissive at all about the way we use our time and what grabs our attention. So the devil won't let anything fly that is not godly, that is just normal. Let it fly and be a trend without it communicating something spiritually. And that's why if there's a trend as a person, if you're a wise person, you investigate the possible spiritual undertones before you participate in the physical trend. Now, there's this bottle flip stuff that people have been doing. A lot of people have been doing it in their work, in their church, in their family, with their neighbors just doing it. You flip a bottle, and if the bottle lands upright, you get to go and eat something. And then people lining up behind you, keep flipping, and whoever gets it will come and resume your position and stuff like that. And you see, what I was talking about, that when you feel an insecurity, you feel you won't have enough, you begin to grab and gorge yourself with more work than you can handle. Just like with that flip bottle challenge. The subliminal message is telling people, those are the subliminal things that tell you you won't have enough in this particular time you have. So you better eat more. You better take more. You better grab all you can because someone is coming behind you and you wouldn't have eaten enough before they come. So eat as much as possible. There's also the subliminal thing that also tells you the more they are doing wrong, the better you get to eat. So you better pray that they don't do better. That those are the foundations of the game. When you look at it, it's a matter of eat as much as you can while you are there, and pray that they don't do well. The ones that are coming behind you. That's what that is what marks success in that whole game. And when you're overwhelmed with work, that's the mentality you carry too. That man, one client calls you, can you do logo? Another one calls you, can you do website? Another one calls you, can you do? You don't say no because you believe the money that you say no to will come back to haunt you in 2 months' time. So you take it on, and you take it on, and you take it on, and you keep taking it on. You understand? That's what people do. That's what tailors do. That's what mechanics do. That's what carpenters do. That's what everybody does. That's why tailors never meet up because they always say yes to everybody. They never say, I have too many people right now. I cannot take your cloth. They take it because that fear of what will they eat next month is a problem. So they take on. So we do that. We continue to take on as much as we can. And that's why you're overwhelmed with work. Take up as much as you can so you don't say no. At work, the same thing too. Employers play on that. They play on your insecurity to get a job. So you feel once you are in a job, ah man, I better hold on to this job because there are no jobs out there. So for me to get this one, I am lucky. That idea of I'm lucky to have this job has made people make serious compromises when it comes to job. People used to go to church every Sunday and don't go to church anymore because your boss says you have to come to church on Sunday. So you don't like it, but there are no jobs out there. So you show up on Sunday to church. You work 6 times a week. 6 times a week. When on a good day, the structure of the system tells you you have 2 days, at least 2 days, weekend where you can rest. The employers or the system, the work structure has infringed on that thing so much because of the insecurity of people. So like, "Ah, I have to go to work. I don't have any other job. What will I do if I lose this one?" So it's not enough. So your boss asks you to do more work than you can do. There's no closing time. Bosses even say it now. No closing time. Oh, you can call you anytime. I once saw an offer letter like that, the job being advertised, and they were like, no closing time. We can call you at any time. So you have a company phone that must always be charged, always be on because they can call you anytime. That's an infringement on your personal space as a human being, which you are entitled to. But you see, we can't say no. You can't say, oh, no, no, I can't. I can't come back to the office. I'm already at home. I can't come back to the office. I've closed because we are insecure about losing that job. If I lose that job, how will I survive? But you will survive. Just like if you turn down that client, you will survive. But we're overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed socially because we are afraid of losing relationships. So this person says, oh, can you come and just help me hang out on stuff like that? Help me do this. They're asking of things for which you know that number one, you don't have the time. Number two, you're not interested in doing. Where you're like, oh man, what would they feel? How will my friend feel? I don't want to lose this friend. They'll think I'm uncool. So I have to go to the cinema with them. I don't feel like going to the cinema. But then I don't want to be a wet blanket. So you take on that and you get overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed spiritually in quote. Because there's church meeting, choir meeting, technical department meeting, publicity meeting, and you can't make it. But then the head of department is calling you. We didn't see you. We need you to be here on time. They're waiting for you. Everything depends on you. And you get this guilt trip that it is God's work you're doing. And once they ostracize you, you kind of feel like you've missed your way spiritually. So you do it all the same. You know you want to rest, but you can't rest from God's work now. There's no rest from God's work. There are a lot of lies we tell ourselves. Once it's God's work, you can't say no, God's work in quote. But God's work for who? You understand? So there are a lot of things that causes us to be overwhelmed, but it's all rooted in an inability to say no when we ought to say no. And not being convinced about what our spirit is telling us. So is this mentality, I talk about it from the spiritual end, where it's only your pastor that knows what is good for you. So pastor tells you, once you get home from work, come come to church, I have a job for you to do. You know that you have work to do at home, but pastor has said it, so only pastor hears from God. So because only pastor that hears from God, once he says come, you come. And I once went through that. The time I was working on something, and my pastor called me. I said, okay, I need to come up with me right now. I want to go somewhere together. And I said, no, I can't come. I was very shocked. I was very shocked. And I said no. I said, oh, he didn't know what to say. I said, okay, no problem, no problem. Another time he tried again, okay, I need to come right now. We need to go and do something. I said, I can't come. I'm in the middle of something. Maybe we should make it tomorrow. He wasn't used to that. He was used to that. Bypass your brain and just go with what pastor tells you. I'm not saying don't do what pastor tells you, but you see, there is something called there's a spiritual alignment where you feel you align with what this guy is saying. It works for you. It works in your life. It works with your timing. It works with your program. It works with your scheduling. It's not just because you said it. You understand? So we cannot be spiritually insecure, socially insecure, and financially insecure and expect not to be overwhelmed. You'll be overwhelmed. An insecure person is always overwhelmed because they don't want to lose out. But you must be sure in your life that you can't lose out. Once you have that mentality that I cannot lose out, I lose this job, I will get another one. I can't lose out. That has always been my mentality working with clients. To be honest with you, for a good amount of time, I had that mentality. They didn't start this company with me. So if I tell them go away, they cannot end my company. But I did that for a while till I started getting some kind of big clients that I started getting scared. Well, next should I get this kind of big client too? Then they started infringing on my time. The time I'll be eating with my family, we're having dinner together, and then we'll be eating. And then I take my phone away from because we have this policy on the table, no phones on the table. So I put my phone away. Then I come back and I miss the call and I answered it and I call the client back. You see, I never used to do that before because once I'm at home, I don't call any client back. But then this client, they were my biggest clients. So they called and the person was waiting for me. Say, what do you mean? We've been calling you, we've called you like, so why didn't you pick up your phone? We need a job to do. And I found myself apologizing. This was not Tola Alabi 2004. This Tola Alabi 2019, 2020. I had experience, I had respect in the industry, but I was still insecure because I believed this client should go. Where will I get money from? So I overburdened myself with that client and I got overwhelmed. But thank God, by God's intervention, we kind of split ways, and that was the best thing that happened in my life. And I could breathe again, I could relax again, I could sleep again, I could be creative again. So if you want to if you want to get rid of being overwhelmed, then you must get rid of insecurities that force you to say yes instead of saying no. No can be the most liberating word in the world. No, and yes can be the most burdensome word in the world. Yes can be the most burdensome because once you say yes, you take on a burden. You want to be sure it's a burden you want to take on. Once you say no, you free yourself of something, and you want to be sure it's something you want to free yourself from. But only someone that has good understanding of their value system, and are secure about who they are, can use these two words to their advantage. So on that question, that would be my advice if you want to handle being overwhelmed. Check, take an indices, an audit of your activities and why you keep saying yes. And look at why you are insecure, why you keep saying, why you can't say no, why you keep saying yes, and try to think of why you are insecure. And then you have to come to a place where you find something that gives you security. And you need to come to that decision what gives you security. And from my experience, the only security comes from God. You understand? If you are secure in God, that God will take care of you no matter what. You lose people, you lose job, you lose finances, God will always take care of you, no matter what. If you have that at the back of your mind, I'm telling you, you wouldn't be overwhelmed. You wouldn't be overwhelmed. Look, people assume that I'm an extremely busy person. It's the wrong assumption people have. People say, Mr. Sonani, you're very busy. I think I'm always busy. No, no, no. For the past 2 years, I've not been extremely busy. I have like 4 hours each day of productive time. And the rest time for me is rest. The rest of the time is rest, play, think, discover. I'm not half as busy as people think I am. Half as busy. How do you think I'm able to tell you watch this thing on Netflix, watch this on Netflix, read this book? If someone that's so busy, you think I'll have that much time? But I choose my activities clearly, and they fit within those 4 hours, and I don't let anybody infringe on those 4 hours. Do you understand? That's how it is. So I'm hardly ever overwhelmed. The past 2 years, I've not been overwhelmed. In fact, what I have to deal with nowadays is distraction. So I try not to get distracted by someone putting up a rubbish skit on Facebook, or get distracted by someone ranting on because I have that free time. So when you have free time, the only thing you contend with is distraction. I don't want to get distracted. So that's my biggest issue in abating distraction, choosing my relaxation and discovery content well, rather than using it to just do nothing productive. So I think that'll be my answer to that question. Now, the second question you've asked is, how can one handle the fear of starting and the fear of not being perfect and judge, which stops you from starting? So how can one handle the fear of starting something and the fear of not being perfect at it when you start, and people judging you? Now, the truth of the matter is, you can never start perfect. Nobody ever starts perfect, no matter how much you prepare. No matter how much you prepare, life is always moving. So as they are preparing, you are getting there. There's something as that day, something has added to the expression of that stuff that you don't know. At least one thing. Then you need to learn that one thing. So because the world keeps moving, advancement is every second. So when you think you are prepared, it keeps moving. When you think you are prepared, it's just like saving. Saving is one of those concepts that I've never really understood. You can't get rich by saving. You understand? You can maintain wealth by saving, but you can't achieve wealth by saving. You can maintain it by saving, but you can't achieve. Because there's something called inflation. It happens every single day while you're sleeping, when you're awake, when you're playing, when you're eating. Inflation is going on every single day, every single second. So, and I realized this a time when when we were saving up for a car. My family and I were saving up for a car. So we used to put money aside. And every time we go back and check the price of a car, it has gone up. So we will manage to save 50K every month. But every month, the price of a car was going up by 150K. So we're always caught in a position of chasing. So that's the same thing with knowledge. Knowledge is added every single day. So when you think you're ready, get there, added knowledge is there. You don't know that new knowledge of today. That's how it is. It's hard to catch up. I heard that Apple has come out with iPhone 16. I'm not even sure, it'll be 15. I don't even follow their number. But there's a new iPhone out. I've never even bought iPhone 6 or iPhone 4 or iPhone, whatever it is. I've never had an iPhone in my life. You understand what I'm saying? So by the time I buy that one now, before you know it, another 2 years, 1 year, they come out with another one. Before I finish understanding that one, they come out with another one. Before you finish understanding what that other phone can do, they come out with another one. So you would always enter into business or an industry some form of a novice. You will never be perfect. That's an illusion that you enter something perfect. Never. You never enter something perfect. So you need to understand that and embrace that everybody starts a beginner. You understand? And there's a beauty in being a beginner. It's an incredible time to be a beginner. It's a time to learn. Um, the fear of being judged, or so you don't want to be judged by people. So people might mock your stuff. It's not good enough. It's that kind of thing. It's an amateur. Is this? But the thing about being judged is it's just like not knowing. That's a constant. Things will always be ahead of you. There's always something new. You'll always be a beginner. The same thing with being judged. You'll always be judged. Always. Whether you're good, you'll be judged. Whether you're bad, you'll be judged. You're a beginner, you'll be judged. You're an expert, you'll be judged. You'll always be judged. People will always have an opinion. You always find people that have negative opinions of how you're doing something. So you're doing it well, you're doing too much. Yeah, you know it all. You understand? You're a show off. You understand? You're full of yourself. You don't know it all, you're mediocre. You're a greenhorn. You're a scam. People always have an opinion. People will always judge. So you can't go by whether people will judge you. People will judge you. That is the reality. There's a part in the Bible where Jesus was with the Pharisees. He had gone to someone's house to go and eat. And he said, you guys, you say John the Baptist was a recluse, was not social, socially awkward guy. You understand? He had mental problem. That's what you hated about him because he never used to socialize with people. He used to live in the wilderness. He was an archaic man. Now I have come. I'm eating with you guys. You invite me to your house. I socialize. You say I'm a glutton. You understand? I'm a friend of sinners. What he was trying to say is that people will always judge. There was no safety. So you must understand who you are and be true to who you are. But people will always judge you. So it's an illusion to evade not being perfect. It's an illusion to evade not being judged. So if you're waiting for any of these things, you will never start. That's the truth. You only start when you are like, man, I don't care. I don't care about not being perfect. I don't care about being judged. I'm going to do this thing because I believe. And this is where whatever we start, the strongest, the strongest stimulus to starting cannot be you. So when people tell me I've not started because I'm not perfect, or I'm not started because of what people will say, their biggest problem is not particularly insecurity, it's selfishness. It just shows that they are thinking of themselves alone because you don't want to be imperfect and you don't want to be judged. But what about the people that would benefit from your knowledge level, which might not be perfect, and benefit even when you're judged? Those are the people you should be concerned with. It's the people you're going to serve with what you're going to do. So if you're not people minded, you continue to think of what is best for you. That's now a selfishness problem. The selfishness problem. So you become self-conscious to the point of being selfish. So you need to think of the people. You need to think of the people. You see, it's only a selfish person that will see somebody dying in the desert and will say, "Oh, sorry, my cup is not clean. Oh, I don't want the person to abuse me for giving them water with an unclean cup." And you see that this person is dying in the desert. You won't do that. You give them with that dirty cup. Your cup is dirty, yes, but this person needs to live. They wouldn't die from using a dirty cup. They would die from dehydration. But when you start thinking of that dirty cup, I don't want to be the person that gave a dirty cup. It means you are a selfish and wicked person. You understand that what it says? It says that you don't care about people. So we need to what we need to pray for is, God, help me to be less selfish. Help me to be more caring. Help me to be more caring. That might help you better to overcome this problem of being judged. Um, I'll move on to the next question. Next question is, why do we find it hard to get clarity in life, even when we think we've got one? One small challenge might show up and we doubt what we call clarity. Now that's a good question. It says, why do we find it hard to get clarity in life? That's a good question. Now, I don't think it's hard for us to get clarity in life. I don't think so. Clarity is one of the easiest things. What we call a hardness of getting clarity differs difficulty in getting clarity is actually a difficulty in summoning courage. People are clear. Look, these years I've spent trying to give help people to find clarity. What the biggest thing I've learned is that they have clarity already. What they don't have is courage. They are clear. Clarity is easy. It's courage that is hard. People know what they ought to do. They just don't have the courage to do it. You understand? And that's why when they meet little challenge, when they summon up small courage and they meet little challenge, they lose their courage and they go back to question clarity. No, clarity has not changed. It's just that your courage is not growing. It's either not there or not growing. It's easily intimidated. Clarity is easy. Courage is what's hard. And it's the lack of courage that makes people push down clarity. So they force themselves to a point where they say, I don't understand. You understand. You just don't want to deal with the truth yet because you don't have the courage to deal with the truth. That's the biggest thing I've realized in trying to help people find clarity. I find out that by the time they start telling you their problem, they know the source of their problem themselves. They know. A lot of them know. 90% of people I talk to, they know. And the 10% that say they don't know, they are just good enough to deceive me that they don't know. A lot of them do know. Courage is the problem. They don't have the courage to follow through. So when they don't have the courage to follow through, they cannot tell themselves that they are not courageous. So they rather say they are not clear. But we're clear. We are smart enough to be clear. We all have consciences, which is our moral compass to tell us what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. God made us higher than animals. And animals don't go around asking. A dog won't go around asking another dog, how should I bark? If lower animals don't go seeking clarity from their fellow animals, why are we higher animals not able to deduce what we should be doing with our lives? Because we are smart enough to feel fear and to deceive ourselves. A dog doesn't know how to deceive itself. A lizard doesn't know how to deceive itself. A chicken doesn't know how to deceive itself. Their intelligence is not up to that level. They don't know how to hide. That's why Adam and Eve were higher. When they sinned, they went to hide. They know how to deceive themselves. So we deceive ourselves that we don't know. We didn't know what was going on. That's why Adam will say it was the woman. Eve will say it was the serpent. The serpent didn't say it was anybody. You understand? Because serpent was an animal. Couldn't deceive himself. Do am. But the woman and the man deceived themselves that they were not clear on the implications. But they were clear. They knew what they were doing. You understand? They knew. And that's what we do when we say it's hard to find clarity. It's not hard. It's just hard to be courageous. Another misconception people have about clarity is that they feel clarity is clairvoyance. I know what clairvoyance is. Clairvoyance is seeing into the future. Clarity is not clairvoyance. And what I mean is when people say they want clarity, what they want is security for the future. So they want you tell me my future. So when they say they want clarity, they're like, I hate this job I'm working in, but I want clarity. So they tell you everything. They're not paying me well enough. I'm working too many days. The people there are not getting along with me. I don't enjoy the job I'm doing. You think this person doesn't know that they hate the job? No, but they won't add it up. They say, so I'm not just sure what to do. What they are telling you is, I'm not clear. I don't have the courage to quit this job. And when they say give me clarity, what they are trying to tell you is, tell me what the future will be when I quit this job. So tell me the job I will get next and how much they'll be paying me. Then I will quit the job. Only a clairvoyant can tell you that. Someone that can see into the future can tell you, okay, Bright, quit your job. There's a $500 million a month job waiting for you. And that thing, like, oh, I have clarity. No, you don't have clarity. You just want I just told you the future. That's not clarity. Clarity is coming to terms with where you are in the presence. Clarity doesn't have jack to do with the future. Being honest with the present is clarity. That you're honest about this job doesn't pay me enough. I don't like the people I'm working with. I don't like the hours I'm working. I don't like what I'm doing. That's clarity. You have clarity already. Now, what do you do with that clarity is up to you. Do you understand? What you do with so you have clarity. Clarity is not hard. You know, you've been able to take an audit of your present and say, clarity in a relationship is I don't love this girl. We don't respect each other. We're not going the same direction. We don't have the same values. Clarity. Most people they don't have clarity. They're like, so if I break up with this girl now, will I get another girlfriend? How would I know? I'm not God. So when people come to me for clarity, a lot of time they're asking, tell me my future. I don't know your future. Like I just identify what's going on now. And then you have the courage to do what you can do, what you should do logically. If all these things, you hate your job, I don't like the people, I don't like the expression, what should a logical person do? And if you're not a logical person, what should a spiritual person do? Then have the courage to follow through on your logical solution or your spiritual solution. So if your logical solution is, I don't like this job, it's taking my time, logically you shouldn't stay in a place that is wasting your time with people you don't like, expressing something you don't like. Then quit. Have the courage to quit. If you're a spiritual person, they might say, okay, but I feel God is leading me to be in this place to build up my character. But then you should be sure. Don't just say God is leading me. So you're a spiritual person, you must be sure. It must be evident in your heart that God is leading you. That's the complexity with the spiritual aspect of it. Don't just assume. You understand? You must be sure that God is leading you to do that action of staying in an unfavorable environment. Um, to build character. So I put it this way: when I was in Canada, everything was cool, but I didn't feel like I was expressing myself the way I could have expressed myself. I felt like my hands were tied. I didn't feel free. I didn't feel free to talk. I felt like my life wasn't making very little impact. And I felt a huge burden to come back to Nigeria. A huge burden. Huge burden. You understand? Huge burden. Whenever I read the Bible, it always told me about coming back to a place where I was needed. So when I came back, I was sure I had clarity because I wasn't enjoying myself in Canada. I was, at the point when I was in school, and that's why you must know when when something has expired. When I was in school, I was enjoying myself. It was fun. It was incredible fun. But I knew that God had told me go and study and come back. But then after school, I stayed for a while. Got a job, but everything became dry and frustrating and boring and just terrible, terrible emotions attached to it. Some days I'll just cry in my room because I was sad on the inside. And like in my spirit, well, like I've told you, you've expired your time. You came here to get knowledge, not to come and be a citizen. And at that point itself, there was a lot of pressure from people. You better file for your permanent residence and stuff like that and file. So I started downloading stuff. I got police report from Nigeria. Everything half-heartedly. But I was succumbing to the pressure. We're like, you better not come back to Nigeria. Who's come back to Nigeria? Anybody that goes there, stays there. Don't make a mistake of your life. Oh. Don't do this. People were telling me all manner of things. So I was just following the motion. But every single day I was doing, I was getting sad and sad and sad and sadder and sadder. Then I did the permanent resident stuff. Within Canada, I did it there. And they rejected me within there. That place, they rejected it. Best thing that has happened to me. Because if they didn't reject me, I wouldn't know. You understand? I'll continue to follow the motion, and they rejected it. Immediately they rejected it. Do you know what I felt? I felt a sigh of relief. I'm like, wow, thank God. But people were like, hey, yeah, try again. Appeal now. Appeal to them. They shouldn't reject you now. They didn't reject me. They didn't reject this person. Why did they reject? And to be honest, I did the same thing like every other person. Every other person, they rejected immediately. So I came back to Nigeria. Because for me, I was like, oh, well, thank God. Oh. Thank God they rejected me. Oh. And I have an excuse to tell them. And I came back. Not knowing that they didn't know that my true desire was to come back. When I came back to Nigeria, another set of people telling me, why did you come back? Why did you come back? You should go back and stuff like that. They started confusing me a bit to the early period. Then you know what? I started feeling for a master's degree in a university there so that I could go back because the pressure was getting much. People were saying, why did you come back? I was like, okay, let me go back. I started applying. Remember, I had applied for one before. They took me easily. The second one I applied. Immediately I applied, they rejected immediately. Bam! So we don't see you as, we are not convinced. That's what they wrote. I'm not convinced we should offer you an admission in this school. Not convinced, Bao. I'm not convinced. I have a degree from Canada now. I showed them my portfolio, everything was cool, one of the best students. What are you not convinced about? But God will shut the door because I was clear about being back in Nigeria, but I was losing my courage. You understand? You see, that's the thing about clarity and courage. They go hand in hand. When you have clarity, you must have courage to follow it through. So when they rejected me, I tried some other schools in UK. They didn't even used to waste time reject immediately. And they say the same thing. We are not convinced. Because the truth is, me myself, I wasn't convinced. But I was just doing it because the pressure was getting too much from people. So I was saying, if I could approach someone like myself, then I would meet them and say, Mr. Tola, I need clarity. I've been doing this, applying for stuff. They've been rejecting me and stuff, and I'm back in Nigeria. I don't know what to do. You see, I will miss out. I would miss out the information of, but God has made it clear to me that I should be in Nigeria. So I'll go and ask for someone to just tell me it's going to be all right. That would want to hear. But there's no way I would have known that I'll be doing what fulfills me today. I'll be talking with you guys on this call. I will have my mentoring group. I would have my Telegram group. I'll have, I'll be impactful. I never would have known. But I just had to do what had to be done. So at the point, I just said, you know what? I don't care about what any other person, I'm following this thing. Because obviously, God was merciful enough. I was just meeting closed doors. So he wanted to make things super clear to me. So I knew that in the present, I had to be in Nigeria. Do you understand? So I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know, but I just knew obey the present. And I've obeyed the present for how many years now? Since 2000 and I think about 2007 till now. Over 10 years. You understand? And that's what having the courage to follow up on clarity is. So clarity is not hard to get. It's not. It really isn't hard to get. It is courage that makes us doubtful of whether we have clarity in the first place. Trust me, you said when when small challenges show up, we begin to doubt what we call clarity. I understand what you're saying. Because every time I was in Nigeria, they would take light 2 days, 3 days. Where I'm staying now, we didn't have water, no pipe-borne water. We used to buy water till we were able to make a borehole. All that time, do you think it was easy? It was challenging. I used to question, are you sure I'm meant to be in this Nigeria? Am I sure I was clear about stuff? No light 2 days. We didn't have inverter then. Me and my wife will sleep on the bed. The whole bed will be wet of sweat. We had our first child. The child will be sweating all night. You put on gel in night. Challenges. But then deep inside, I was still sure I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to be here. Even still, I still get challenges. There's still challenges. You go out to hear this person was kidnapped. Someone was kidnapped in our church some days ago. Thank God they released the person. Those things discourage you. And like, God, are you sure I heard from you? But the presence of clarity is not the absence of problems. It's not. Do you understand? Problems will be there. They are a constant. It is your conviction in spite of those problems. That's true clarity. In spite. So people expect that when they are clear, their road should be clear too. No. Sometimes you are clear about following a bumpy road. That's the clearest. That this road there is bumpy, it has turns, it has potholes. You understand? So clarity is not that you are clear that your life will be heaven. Sometimes you're just clear that your life will be hard. That's when we look at the life of Jesus. He was clear about dying. Is dying a sweet thing? No. He was clear about suffering before he would die. That's why when Peter came to tell him, no, this will not happen. He said, no. That sounds good to you. Eh? That's your own level of clarity. But for me, what you're telling me is discouraging me from being clear. So he told him, get away from me, Satan. So what Peter was saying was good. So sometimes when you're clear about something, a news that seems good will come, but it conflicts with your clarity. You must be able to say, no, 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 no. This sounds good, but it's not good. So do you know those people have come to me and offered, family members offered that, you know what, we'll give you money. Just relocate. Just start this relocation process to Canada. I said, no, give us money. You won't work. Do you understand? No, no. I'm convinced. So you see, it sounds good on the outside that someone is willing to give you money to sponsor your process. That sounds like a breakthrough. But when you're clear, some breakthroughs are roadblocks. Not everything that glitters is gold. You understand? And the truth is, I'm not saying I cannot relocate in future, but the future is not for me to judge. I'm saying for now, I'm clear about the now, and that's what clarity is. Clarity is being clear about the present and letting the future be. So let's stop thinking about the future. You understand? And start thinking about what are you clear about now. If you're clear that the job you're in is not for you, then leave that job. The future about whether you get another job is another thing, but clarity increases as you take a step. So you take a step, you become clearer. You take another step, you become clearer. You take another step, you become clearer. But people feel like clarity is knowing the total end before you take your first step. It's hardly ever like that. It's hardly ever like that. So let me see if I can take some of Ehosa's questions before, because it's like how many minutes? About 5 minutes or so. So I think I can take the first of Ehosa's questions. There's two questions, obviously. So I might be able to take two. Ehosa's first question is talking about he has always thought it hard learning new skills. But over the past few months, he has been involved in learning a lot of skills, and then he discovers that he's fast at learning skills. However, he realized that he is more committed to skills that generate funds rather than skills that do not generate funds. So you say, I find myself struggling and giving excuses with those lower earning skills that he has learned. Says, how do you think one can get over this? Now, this also this also borders on some level of insecurity, this accumulation of skills, which this generation, our generation of people in the world, find ourselves doing. We accumulate skills because we are insecure about the knowledge we should have. And we always feel that, you see, there's this mentality that we are always looking over the fence and seeing what is selling now. UI UX is selling. I should go and learn that one. What's selling? Crypto is selling. I should go and get into crypto. What's selling? Real estate is selling. I should learn something about real estate too. So I always thinking of what's selling. The reality of the matter is anything can sell. There's nothing in this world that can sell. It is the predisposition of people that is the problem. People go into something believing it cannot sell, then it won't sell. People go into something believing it will do well. In most cases, it does well if you truly believe it in your heart. And this is where I talk about myself when I got into design in Nigeria. Design was not in 2000, and I got to Nigeria in 2007. I started design in 2004. See, when I started design in 2004, design was not a respected career. It was not even a career path. If you want to be a designer, you go and work in a printing press. So when the printer goes out and gets the client, he gives you the job to do. He pays you like 500 naira. You go and print it, you get 150 naira profit. That's all. That was the that was the food chain. Designers never met clients. It was printers that met clients. At least here in Abuja, I don't know how it was in Lagos, but I don't think it would have been any different. Printers were the ones that were eating the bulk of creative money then, because there was no digital products. Everything was physical. So if you wanted to do a brochure, it was a physical brochure. If you wanted to do a this, everything was physical. If you wanted to do a logo, it was for a letterhead. You understand? It was for a letterhead that was going to be printed out, not for any social media jack. not for any website. Everything was physical. So printers had a thrill time. They made so much money. Then the digital age came. But I got into it before the digital age was established in Nigeria. So I got into it when it was bleak. It was bleak. There was nothing much about design. Nothing. Why are you learning design? When you know, like you want to be a teacher in a cyber cafe, teaching people Corel Draw. That what you used to learn design for now. You be a Corel Draw teacher. But I knew that there was something more there. I just believed that there was something more in this industry. I just knew that there was so much potential. So I got into it believing that I would do well. I just believed I would do well. I didn't ever entertain the thought that I would struggle as a designer. So even when I was struggling, I didn't even see it as struggling. I was so sure that I would do well because I saw people in US doing well, and I had a group of friends that were always showing me people in US doing well, doing incredible things. And we always just saw ourselves in that light. So design worked for us. Design worked for us. The people I started with, a lot of them are doing well. A lot of them are doing well. There's a guy I started. A lot of them. Some of them are working in really big places, doing really good stuff. One of them even won this MTV um, Video Director of the Year. Very very recently. You understand? They're doing well because we just believed that we would do well. We didn't we didn't guess. Maybe we will do. Maybe we wouldn't do well. No, no, no. We just believed. You understand? So I really believe when you go into something, you go into it believing, not as a gamble. And this is where also, if you're learning something, don't go and learn something as a gamble. Number one, ask yourself, are you interested in it? Do you believe in it? Don't go just say, I want to learn and see whether it will pay or not pay. Because beyond something paying, there is also the place of something fulfilling you. So, yes, you learn a skill, it's making money, but then does it fulfill you? That's what you must ask yourself. The question is, does it fulfill you? In the end, you are a human being, you're not a robot. Human beings long for fulfillment, internal fulfillment. So if you are giving up on something because it's not paying, but that thing fulfills you, to do something that doesn't fulfill you because it pays, then you're compromising your soul. You're compromising your soul. Because fulfillment is what keeps us alive. Lack of fulfillment kills us early. So you must be in tune with yourself, and that insecurity, you must address the insecurity of I need money as a means of validation. You understand? Because you would have money and then fulfillment will come knocking. Very important. So my advice to you, Elsa, is number one, don't stack up knowledge just because it's available. Don't just stack up because there are a lot of courses out there, a lot of things I need to learn. No, no, no. You don't need all those things. You don't stack up. You don't stack up. You don't stack up. You see, there's a lot of knowledge out there, not because we need to learn everything. A lot of knowledge out there just because God wants to show us how generous He is. Not because He wants us to partake in every single one or develop every single one. Because He just wants us to just realize how abundant He is in giving. That's why I try to tell multi-talented people that say that they are multi-talented, there are very few. But people that claim to be multi-talented, and I say there are very few because a lot of people have one talent that can express in different ways, but they say they are multi-talented. They're not multi-talented. They're just multi-expressional. You understand? But they're not multi-talented. They can express one thing in different ways. Um, so someone that is can sing, can rap, can dance, kind of feels as multi-talented. It's not really multi-talent. You understand? Everything is still within the area of music and entertainment. It's one thing. They go together. You understand? Rhythm and dance go together. You understand? So it's one thing. We're just able to express it in different ways. Now, what I tell people that are genuinely multi-talented, eh, when they feel which one should I do? So many things to do. I don't know. I tell people, just because you have the talent doesn't mean you need to use it. And that might sound counterintuitive, but just because you have 20 talents doesn't mean you need to feel every single one of the 20. Sometimes God just gives us multi talent to just make us know how incredibly generous and incredibly abundant in giving that He is. But He wants you to use just one of them, just one. And we see it in the universe. People that know the universe, they tell you the universe has about how many billion galaxies. And within each galaxy, there are billions of stars, of which Earth is one of the stars. That's billions upon billions. But then let's just stick within our own galaxy alone that has billions of stars. And Earth is the only star that we know of that has life in it. That teaches me something. It teaches me that just because God has created a lot of planets and stars, it doesn't mean He needs to fill everything with life. He just does it because I can. But He focuses on one out of billions. On one with life like ours. He could easily just say, okay, I've done all this, so that means I have a responsibility to fill every single one. But no, the same thing with He blesses us with stuff abundant, but not everything is used. The same thing. All of you are men here. Do you know how many sperm cells you have? Billions, but only one doing intercourse. One, just one out of millions is useful. The others waste. So if God wanted to fill everything, every single talent, let's say every single sperm cell is a talent, every single sperm is a talent. That means that every single one should be used. No, but only one. To show us that there's some things that are abundant, but within that abundance, you select one. So the same thing with knowledge, because there's so much knowledge out there, doesn't mean you should register for every course. Because there are so many parts of graphic design, doesn't mean that you should learn every single one. Yes, sometimes you just realize that wow, it's such an interesting time to be alive. There's UX, there's web, there's animation, there's illustration, there's identity, there's layout. Wow, I'm glad I'm alive at this time to see so many expressions. But with that, I'll just focus on my identity. It doesn't mean you don't need to eat everything that you see. Sometimes when you just go to a buffet, you just go there just to say, man, check out food. Check out food. That's incredible. Doesn't mean you eat every single thing. You eat the one that you enjoy the most. Then you go home and then you tell people, I went to a buffet and I saw so much food. And I was just thankful to God. You don't have to say, I ate everything, I enjoyed this one. Those are people that get sick. You understand? So knowledge is abundant, but your time is not abundant. Your time is not abundant. Your time you have to express is limited. So choose something, commit to it, express it while you're alive, because your time will run out. Um, the second and last question here from Mehosa is, let me try to read the question. It's saying, how does one deal with a client that refuses to up a call or have deep conversations when you're about to work on their brand identity project? And this client has already made 75% payment upfront. Note that this client just tells you their brand name and that's all. So what do you do with this kind of client? That's a good question. So the client pays for 75% upfront. Let's even assume they pay 100%, 75%. Let's assume that 75% is too small. It's good enough, pays 100% upfront. But then it just tells you, my company's name is Atlantic Bird. Atlantic Bird, we are into finance. That's all. Go and figure out the rest. Create the logo. You call the person to have a conversation, get a detailed brief. I don't have time. I don't have time. Just go and do it. We need it urgently. What do? A desperate person will do that work and come back and be showing the person. And the person will be saying, no, no, you haven't gotten what I want. No, I don't like it. What they don't even tell what they don't like about it. Those kind of people that are not patient to tell you what they want you to do, usually are not patient to tell you what they don't like. They just tell you, I don't like it. I'm not feeling it. When I see it, I will know. I'm not wild. Show me more options. You see, insecurity is what puts us to that level. Number one, let me get this clear. For me, when I'm paid an upfront, that money, I put it aside. I don't touch clients' money till I'm done with the project. I just assume that we just started. This person can mess up anytime. And for me, mess up means I do refund. Some people don't believe in refund, but me, I don't like to have any of those. Mr. Tola took my money, didn't give it back to me. I don't like it. So for me, I tell them, look, your money is still very accurate. Oh, it's still very much there. So you are not answering. I can't do your work. If I can't do your work, it's better you have your money back. And let me move on. If we are not corresponding, we are too busy, come back at a better time. Come back at a better time. Now, at that point, it's either the client takes their money or they wake up, they realize that this thing is about to go south. This job is about to go south. This person is going to go with their money. But you cannot be desperate and make such statements. It's not possible. Because you are desperate. Number one, you've already started. The moment that money hits your account like this, you started allocating it to your various needs. You are stuck because you don't even want the person to even say, "Give me back my money." So you just go into that guessing game, and that guessing game keeps you working with clients that you don't want to work with. So I feel like if you're in this situation, you must be able to call the client to order and say, you know what, it's like this time is not a good time for you to do this project because you cannot apportion the time we need for us to do a detailed investigation with you. You understand? We would like to have a meeting with you, talk with you, but obviously we've tried once, we've tried twice, and it's not happening. And we don't want to hold you back any longer. So at this point, we don't think we are the right people for you because we don't have enough information from you. Just tell them as it is. Just tell them we've not started the job. Even if we've not started the job, we'll do a full refund back to you, 75%, so that you can find somebody who can work with the information that you've given. But we can't work with that. We need more information. You must even tell the client that. Someone cannot just give you brand name and say go and work on brand identity. You can use brand name and go and work on brand identity. Someone can give you a shovel and ask you to go and build a house. You understand? Can you ask you to give you a shovel and build a house? Number one, where is the site? You understand? Where is the plan for the house? Where are the blocks? Where is the wood? Where is the cement? You understand? You don't have any of those things. Just give me a shovel and say I should go and build a house. You'll come back in 2 weeks' time. It is that ridiculous. It is that ridiculous for someone just give you a name. Say go and the person is asking you to do the impossible. Go and guess what's in their mind. And they don't even have anything in their mind. So they keep saying, I don't know, I don't like it. Then in the end, that same person will come and say, I want a refund after you worked. Does that say, please, can you just refund our money? It's like you are not capable of doing this job. Then you've collected insult plus injury on your time. And that's the worst. So I hope that answers your question, Ehosa. Sorry, it's 3:09 by my time right now. But I'm glad we're able to go through. I'm glad we're able to go through all the
Yes, sir.
questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Um,
Thank you very much.
I Now welcome to Talk Live.
Sir, hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to just ask a very quick question on the last question because something happened and I want to just look at what's your take on it.
All
So
right, go ahead.
there was this client I got. oh, come and do a brand identity. We sat down, we talked about it. Definitely, he had the time and all. He's a young guy, so I did the design, I did the logo and all. He signed off on it like, oh, this is good. He has paid up front. He has not paid the full balance. He signed off like, oh, this is fine. This is fine. The color, oh, he changed the color. Oh no, not this color. And all. I changed the color. So I had already done the brand guide. He wanted the brochure because it's a real estate store. So because he wanted the brochure they can print out and be showing clients. I did the brochure too. So for backstory, they've already done a logo with another person, and the logo was looking like all this under the Abule kind of logo. Like, this is not me trying to blow my own, but definitely it was through somebody I knew, that the graphic designer that was working them that even brought the job. Like, okay, no. So now when I'd done the brochure, I'd done the brand guide and everything, he now said, oh, now came back and told me that he went to the board or like the other people with his partners or something, and they said that they want to go with the former one. When I've already done the brochure with the logo, with the color and all. I've already brand guide. He has already signed off on the logo. Like, oh, this is awesome. This is unique. I think we made some changes on the logo. So after that, he now said that because he has signed off, and he now said that he wants a refund. After we've already talked about it like that with Nika. And I told him it's not possible. I can't give you a refund. It's not even you. It's not like you paid me full payment. So did I do right or not?
Now, the person asked you to design a logo, so I get you clear. And you design the logo, the person approved the logo, right?
Yes, sir. He accepted.
How did they accept? Did he call
He
you
signed
or did
up.
he send you an email?
He sent a message, like we will talk on WhatsApp. He sent the message that this is good to go, and I even still have the message.
Okay, so after that, he now took you to the next level of creating a brochure for them, right?
I created brochure. I created logo, brand guide too.
Okay, so at
I
the
created
point
banners
of
too, sef. Banners.
all right, so at the point of delivering this, they now said they are going with
The former
another
one.
design,
The former
and they
one
want you
because
to refund their money.
yes, sir.
No, you didn't do wrong. You
No.
didn't do anything wrong at all. At all. As a matter of fact, they owe you your balance. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Not
Exactly.
only did you not do anything wrong, they owe you your balance because you delivered on their logo. The only reason why you're not getting a balance on that identity was because they added that brochure stuff to it. You understand? You delivered, he signed off. He has it in writing that this is okay, this is good to go. He now comes up and tells you that there is a board somewhere that was not in the discussion from the onset. No, that can't happen. You can't do that. You understand? You already committed your time, your talent, your correspondence. You went on his feedback. There's no way he's having a what do you call it? A refund at all. He owes you money. He owes you. You understand? Because it's not like you went off. They went with something else. So they were the one that made the decision to go with something else. Not because of it. Because did they say they had a fault with yours?
No, sir. No.
You understand? So he can't. And you must be clear with him that as a matter of fact, they owe you so and so. They might not pay you, but you must state it. You understand? Say you don't see how we can get a refund because you committed this, and based on his feedback, he said it was good to go. Tell him the day, his feedback on the so and so of this. If he desires for you to send him evidence of this communication, you are willing to send it to him. But based on this, he cannot. His request for a refund cannot be honored. Just tell him you cannot honor that request for a refund. As a matter of fact, you have an outstanding payment of so and so with them for following through on what you were commissioned to do. You let them know. You understand? Let them know.
Yes, sir.
And tell them it is now up to them to decide to use your work or not. But you have an outstanding payment with them. Now I'll let you know they might not pay, but it's there in public record that they owe you. That's your own stance. You understand? It gets to a point where he might say he might want to demand his money, but if he continues to call back based on that, you do not honor such phone calls anymore, because obviously he's being unrealistic. That's an unrealistic demand, and I'm surprised that he has the effrontery. You understand, to try to ride on that. But a lot of times, a lot of people are riding on you not knowing any better. But you must let them know that you know better. You understand? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Yeah, that money is yours and more. You understand? So you've not done anything wrong at all. What I'm just going to say is that in your correspondence, don't be rude, but be firm. You understand? Don't say I can't imagine you wasted my time and stuff. No, 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 no. Just be firm. So you have the recording of this thing. Listen to what I just said about it. Write it that way. There's nothing rude about that. Just be firm. Be firm. Don't be rude. Just tell them, bam. When he's rude, don't be rude. When his correspondence is rude, don't reply. You understand what I'm saying? But just move on with your life. Thank God they even paid an upfront. But they owe you your balance. By all means, they owe your balance. You understand? But this case is what I would call a black swan event. And what the black swan means that it has happened, but it's not the norm. So I don't want you to go into it saying anyone that I'm working with, because that was some designers will do, some business people, because of this, anybody I'm working with must pay me 100%. No, no, no. It means you're punishing everybody for the sin of one person who might be a nuisance. You don't want that. No, no, no. You always meet people that are difficult people, but don't punish everybody. So still keep your business. Remember, you have more people that you've worked with that have paid you your upfront and paid your balance. Just this person. So don't. You see, what people do is that they try to. A lot of people try to. Okay. The problem is that a lot of people try to self-correct for other people's problems. So can we meet our mic, please? You try to self-correct for other people's problems. That's a big mistake. So what happens is, you see, you go out of your house in the morning, and then a madman comes and throws sand at you. And they're like, ah, man, a madman threw sand at me today. Then you now say, because of that, you change your lifestyle and say you won't go out in the morning again. That's a black swan. Because most of the people out there are not mad people. So that's an isolated event. Or you say, you know what, I won't dress up the way I would. I will get to my location, then I'll wear my best clothes. No, that's you altering your own life because of somebody else's indiscretion. No, don't do that. Do you understand? If you have a good structure, upfront payment, balance payment, don't change it. You understand? Don't become insecure with your structure because of these people that have tried to cheat you. Because it's cheating. They have tried to cheat you. Don't do that. Just be firm with them. Don't refund any money to anybody. He has no case anywhere. No case anywhere. Whether in a civil court or in a whatever, he has no case. Nowhere. You understand? As long as you have that correspondence, and it's a good thing you have that correspondence. So you've done the right thing. You've done what I would have done. All right. So,
Thank you, sir.
All right. So I would like us to end this session now. If there are any more questions, please jot down your questions so that in our next session we will start from there. So even if you have questions based on what I've said now, if you have not answered any of your questions well enough, just note it down. You understand? Then in our next session, which Bright will let us know when it is, we will answer.
Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate.
All right. Thank you, Zeni.
Thanks
Thank you,
much,
Bright.
sir. Thanks much, sir. And
All right. Thanks, Ehosa.
This was a good session, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Someone send regards to somebody there.
All right, sir. I said our regards to the kids and the family and your wife.
Yes,
Okay.
so
Thank you.
In a minute.
I'll let them know.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
thanks to Madam for taking care of us.
All right. I'll let her know. I'll let her know. All right, then
Yes,
you
sir.
guys take care of yourself.
Right.
Enjoy your holiday.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
I miss
All right.
your almost everyday VN. I missed it.
Serious?
I'm serious. The
All
VN,
right.
the 25 minutes VN you sent, I think yesterday or
Yeah.
so, like, I was just bringing memories. Like, there was a time you used to send it every day, I know, and
Every day. Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
something you won't look forward to. I know, like, come on,
Mm,
I
mm,
miss it though.
I'll try to be more frequent with you. Maybe not every day like before anymore, but when I have something on my mind, I'll share.